Welcome to Coffee with the Sarlos. We are your hosts of the show, Karen and Kelly Sarlo. Whether you're struggling with grief or you just need answers, we connect you with spirit to find relief, clarity, and direction in life. We can help you move forward.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm riled up. How are you?
I like when you get riled up. Tell me why.
Oh, good. So we're going to kind of deviate from our regular... Yeah.
I'm going to say I like when you get riled up and explain that.
Oh, okay.
I want to say that I like when you get riled up because I know you and I know that it would be for damn good reason.
Oh, thank you.
You are not somebody who picks silly things to get upset about. You always think through things in a process. You find your facts. It's worth it. So that's why I said, let's hear what it is.
Cool. That's a huge compliment. So thank you. That touches me on a lot of different levels. So I'm riled up, and I want to say that we're deviating from a regular Coffee with the Sarlos kind of format, and going back to what we did when we first started the show, which was really focusing on education, right? And I know there's tons of education in the shows that we do. Even now, lots of my life coaching stuff comes through. We're talking about, universal laws and things that we understand from channeling guides for so many years. I want to talk about a common theme that comes up that people ask us to channel. And it's never to make someone feel bad. I don't ever want to bring upon shame to anyone who either asks this question, wants to ask this question, or is listening to the show and resonates like, shit, I've wondered that. So I'll preface it with that. Now, I've had a slew of clients recently who we've been channeling a number of different things in the session, and then they will say to me, okay, I want to know about a partner. Can you channel information? Do I have a partner coming? And that on its own, I don't mind. It's not my favorite thing to do. However, it's very enjoyable when the guides are talking about tools that they can work on, things that they can implement with this new partner, beautiful growth opportunities with this new person that's going to come into their life eventually. But what I'm finding is that a lot of people who don't currently have one or are looking to get into another relationship specifically have had mini versions of temper tantrums in the session and said well, I'm doing my work. I'm working so hard. Why hasn't the universe given me a partner? And I sat back in one session in particular, and it was like, oh my God, listen to their logic. They are blaming the universe for not delivering when they thought, if I work hard enough, I will get this thing. There's a couple of things wrong with this logic, or really unhealthy, is that a partnership is the result of your hard work on yourself, right? So people are working on healthy communication tools. They're working on uprooting old belief systems that have, kept them largely unhealthy in their life, or mentally not well. And they think that once they've mastered these tools, or they've been working on them for a certain period of time, that the prize at the end of it is a relationship with another person.
And that if I work, I don't know what it is. Some of them think if I'd work hard enough, but sometimes they're not even certain on what they're supposed to work on, other than, and I'm going to say it, and I know some of the listeners already know what's coming, a vision board or a meditation class, and I'm going to say this, but it's just some of the feedback that I've gotten. It's not my opinion. A yoga class, where they think they're supposed to go to yoga to actually visualize what they want. Or some of them will say they want an energy, or they've been to a Reiki person. I just had this one just recently. I've seen a Reiki master several times, and we are working on manifesting my partner.
Yeah, and unblocking my heart so I can be open to love. And it's like, whoa. First of all, none of us are owed a partner. None of us. And this universe or God or whoever it is that you're referring to as a higher power, that's not the point of today's show. This is where I wanted to go with the second part of it being unhealthy logic. You're not being punished by not having a partner. The universe is never saying to you, you have not worked hard enough. You are not yet deserving of love.
Yeah.
That's not how energy works.
That's right. I've even seen where some clients believe what you're saying about that if I try hard enough, or if I work, or if I try and manifest it, that partner has to be perfect. That's another add-on to it. And it's termed a twin flame.
Or a life partner, or
Soulmate.
It's going to be the one.
Yes. And I'm listening to all of these different terms now that people are, I'm going to say are using instead of the word perfect.
Neat.
Like, meaning we're not supposed to fight, we're not supposed to have bumps, or if we do, they should be romantic. And that there wouldn't be any affairs, or there won't be any really difficult things that we have to go through. This should really have no serious bumps. And I should be able to trust them, and they won't be narcissistic. And the list goes on and on. And it's concerning that somewhere in social media or books,
Marketing of whatever kind.
marketing of whatever kind, has people believing this idea, this concept that is not real, for one, and unhealthy. And it's a setup for failure and a waste of time and a waste of your energy, and probably also a waste of your money.
Oh, 100%. And that's something as a practitioner where when I'm asked these particular questions, there's this like ick feeling inside of me, not because of the person, but because now, rather than channeling, I'm taking a channeling hat off, so it's not the guides, and I am now educating when they didn't hire me to be an educator, right? So there's this like blurry line where I'm really trying to practice integrity by saying, look, you're asking a question that is not founded in truth. So any message I'm going to give is going to be the same thing to any person asking this question, right? And don't get me wrong. I want people to find beautiful partners. I want, if you want partnership in your life, I want you to find people that are going to respect you, and that the bumps are going to be less bumpy or kinder in the bumpiness, right? Like, we desire that for the humans that we interact with, and just people in general. But like you said, this concept of perfection, and that we are to be rewarded with perfection once we are quote unquote good enough, or have proved ourselves or learned enough, however you want to fill in that blank. It breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart too, because I'm also seeing that people have some people have a belief about if I go to enough Reiki masters, or the right Reiki master, or a good one, however you want to word that, one that can clear me, and I'm using terms that people are saying to me, or to us rather.
Remove my blocks.
Remove my blocks, clear me, help me get ready, or whatever it is, balance me, balance all of my chakras, all of these different terms, meaning that if I'm in this particular state, whatever that looks like for them, then I'm open to this relationship. And then when we explain, that's not how this works, we're going to read your soul contract and see what's in it. Instead, they go to, no, then you're no good as an energy healer if you can't do this for me.
Because it's what I want as a human.
Yes. Yeah. So if you're going to try and educate me and tell me the truth, then I'm just not even interested in seeing you or Kelly. I'll just call someone else.
And the thing is that at that point, I would rather you call someone else. That's not the problem. That's not the bottom line we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And when I say I get this like ick factor, it's because, like I said, we're no longer channeling. We're trying to educate you about the false reality that has been built around your idea of what these terms even mean, or if they are even real.
Right.
And I don't know, like, to me, in the kindest way possible, I want to say, like, at this point, you need therapy. Right? It's not about coming to a medium. It's not about coming to a psychic or a channeler, anyone with integrity for that matter. It's about going to dispel these unhealthy belief systems or uproot them with someone who can tackle why there is such a lack of self-worth and why you actually have bought into or been able to buy into a belief system that you have to earn love.
Right. Yes. Or why you have to, why you, like you said, buy into a belief system that an energy healer is going to be able to open your chakras for you, that you can't do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that the right one is only going to be determined when you get the perfect person. So we really won't even know if you're spending your money wisely on any of these energy healers until there's proof. And proof will only be when that person that you meet proves perfection.
Okay, so this leads me into the other part that I wanted to talk about that I think is really important, is that there's this concept of I have to, as I've mentioned, prove myself and earn this perfect partner. But what that also says, if we're reading between the lines, is I have to become perfect in order to have a partner. And this is terrifying, right? And really unhealthy, because we can be in a partnership, and all of us are working through our stuff, growing in the partnership because of the partnership, right? And so we don't perfect ourselves and get rewarded with a partner and now everything's fine. We need all of these beautiful individuals and not so beautiful individuals to come into our life to give us opportunities to use these healthy tools that we are acquiring.
It's because of some unhealthy individuals that I have become a better version of my own self.
And continue to solidify that version of yourself.
They pushed me to educate myself, to learn, to practice, to demand more, to love myself more. Yeah, so the idea that you want somebody who's going to be, I don't want to keep using the word perfect, but I hear it so often when they call and want to book that appointment. And some of them want to dance around the word perfect, but you know that's what they mean. And I find that as soon as I say to them, well, can we have a conversation around booking the appointment first so we can talk about your goals? I can hear them kind of already trying to back out. And it's like they know, you're not going to give me what I want. You're not just going to tell me when I leave that my chakras are perfectly aligned and that I've mastered the law of attraction and abundance. And here's some of the next questions that they ask. Which Tim Hortons do I meet them at? Which day of the week? What will they be wearing? And they can then get into a line of questioning that really is down that unhealthy, I'm not really open to relationships. I'm just looking for that one that I think the universe is going to tell you today that I'm supposed to meet at a particular place.
Yeah, and what that all funnels back to, everything that we've talked about so far, is this desire for complete control.
Yes.
And we don't have that over anything in our lives. We have healthy versions of control over some things in our life, and typically that just comes down to our own thoughts and our own behaviors, where we can hone in and learn how to be more mindful in terms of how we think, filter things, and respond rather than react. And I don't want to go too much into like, where do I find them? When do I find them? I want to come back to this concept of, if I am perfect, then I deserve the relationship.
Yeah.
Then we're signifying this idea that I don't have to grow anymore. Right? And that's just really unhealthy. We need those people to be in our lives so that, like you said, I can continue to solidify those tools with them, because we're always going to be challenged to slip back into our old patterns, and we all have them, and our triggers. And a healthy partner, and sometimes an unhealthy partner, will be there to challenge us and say like, whoa, what are you doing?
Well, you're pretty much a brick wall if you think that I've come to my perfection and I booked my appointment with a psychic medium or whatever, and they've told me when I'm going to meet my person, and I believe it's going to be my twin flame or my perfect soulmate, and now I don't need to change because I'm at that place where I finally got ready and I deserve it. So you really are. You're going to show up as a bigger brick wall than you think.
Yeah. Now, I want to explain, too, one of the ways that this has come up, because like I said, this is tons of clients, just in different variations. we started out the session talking about all the tools that she's been learning, really working hard on. She's doing great work. And it was a really fun session affirming how much she was pouring into herself. And then with like no warning on my part, which is kind of funny because again, I'm in the psychic role, she says to me, so what I'm hearing is I don't have a partner coming because I still have work to do. And I was like, pardon? And I said, at no point did the guides even use the word relationship. We've been talking about your tools and what you're accomplishing. Right. They've been congratulating you. It's been such a celebratory session. And because she heard that she still had more work to do, she made the assumption that the guides were insinuating that they are withholding a partner until she does more, completes, fill in the blank, what we've been talking about. And I was just stunned because no one wants to have words put in their mouth, right? Especially when you are someone who's trying to show up with integrity, channeling the guides. And I had to step back and say, like, I never said that. Those words never came out of my physical mouth. The guides never said that. So how did you just get there? How did you just put that on the guides? And why did you accept that? There's two things going on there, right?
Well, yeah, and what I want to point out here, and I'm positive our regular listeners are just jumping.
I hope so.
Going, oh my God, Patricia Evans, the verbally abusive relationship, the number one form of verbal abuse is withholding. This person is saying that I believe my spirit guides are verbal abusers using the number one form of verbal abuse, withholding. Mm-hmm. And I hope, and congratulations to any listeners that got that one.
Yeah.
Good work. That in fact, what we're trying to say is that's false, unhealthy, untrue.
Yeah, and I mean, let's bring in the other stuff to congratulate as well. Regular listeners or binge listeners who caught up in a half a year. Beverly Angel, pardon me, the 10 false beliefs of the people pleaser. This is how riled I am. I'm tripping over my words. False belief number 4, if I'm good and perfect, then I should be loved and accepted. Well, not only are we applying that to humans, we're now applying that to the spirit world.
Right. And I want to point out after what we both just did in this podcast, we're now showing them how those two authors and those two books go beautifully together. Mm-hmm. That when you, in fact, are learning about how you actually have some people-pleasing beliefs, core beliefs, that they go hand in hand with being verbally abused and verbally abusing yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to bring up today because, as a 1 on the Enneagram, there's this feeling of responsibility to educate, right? And to uphold certain standards of integrity. And if we are making a living and also have created and are living a lifestyle of authenticity, connecting to the other side and what they are revealing as truth, then I just think it's not fair to leave this unsaid. And I think it's more helpful to deal with that on a larger platform that can reach more people rather than in session to session. Also, if you guys can hear this today and maybe you don't book sessions, for months or years or ever, at least this is something where you can sit there and go, I'd like to challenge my own belief system today so that I can become a little bit healthier. And maybe however you are trusting in a higher power and have your faith, that they actually love you and don't want to cause harm to you.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. I could rant on it too. I just realized you said it really well. And as a 4 on the Enneagram, I'm just going to sit in my feelings and allow the way you've said it to just present itself.
That was very eloquent and kind. So thank you for being open to doing this kind of different podcast today. I always look forward to how it's going to stimulate discussion. I always look forward to the comments and the feedback that we get. And sometimes it's not always nice, but our regular listeners are, it's hitting home with you, and you're actually seeing the alignment of health come together, and that's always exciting. But we invite listeners with questions or comments, or just, if it blew your brain and now you've got a multitude of questions about other things, like we are here to support you. The sessions are here to support you. And I think too, if we're going to kind of wrap it up in our normal way that we've been doing lately, the risk in not evaluating your old belief systems or your subconscious belief systems is being abused, living in abuse that you're not even aware of, right? And so if you can't pinpoint why you feel so much sadness, anxiety, shame, anger, resentment, we could go on, then let's dig into the belief systems that have got you buried in these emotions so that you can come out of them. And whether you do that with therapy or with channeled sessions and your guides, we support both of them. We direct you to both of them. We just really want to hold up and love human beings as much as possible.
And we really want to represent the spirit world in the truth and integrity that it actually is. And we will not tolerate when other people represent it in unhealthy ways. This is where Kelly and I really wanted to sit down and give the spirit world a voice to be able to speak to each of you directly that are listening today, that have some of these beliefs that are just not true.
Good. So thank you, and thank you to everyone who has tuned in today. Thanks for listening to Coffee with the Sarlos. If you enjoyed the show today, help spread the love with a like, share, or review of the podcast. See you next Saturday with a brand new episode.